Well, for today's show, we're going to interview the casinos, but before we get to that, we're going to talk about the strikes and the shootings that have happened.
So, do you guys know much about the teacher strikes? If you do, just talk into the microphone, feel free.
Oh yeah, I've honked. It's nice.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you.
I don't own a car, but I honk too.
I don't own a car, but I have been honked at.
That's nice, Andy.
Anyway, so on Friday, I had to do the provincial exam because that's a necessary thing that's really important to your life.
Okay.
So I did that test, and then I came out, and there's all the teachers striking. So I'm like, hey, anything new happened? They're like, no, they're still out there, and they're not getting paid, so they're kind of pissed too. But what can you do?
Exactly.
Well, at the moment, we all know that they're just going through the talking phase, having their meetings and all that, but really, I don't really think there is going to be much more of a conclusion than last year's, just, oh yeah, let's make another year deal, and it's not going to work out the way you guys want to, because cost of living's going to go back up, and we're not going to deal with it.
So, update for you guys. Not much to say. Anyways, what about the shootings that you wanted to talk about?
Well, about a month and a half ago, there was the shooting at the Nanaimo steel mill. That's got a lot of the guys at my place a little bit concerned, seeing as we do steel fabrication in Langley. But, yeah, no, lately there's been a lot of guys just going around shooting up places, like, for example, the bike shop last week in Vancouver, and a lot of that is, yeah, no one knows what's really going on. A lot of people are saying it's gang affiliated. A lot of people just have no idea, especially the news agencies. They're trying to pinpoint it. Cops are getting out there, but not much can be done. People are just picking up guns and deciding to shoot up random places and stuff.
Like America!
Yeah. What we have here is a bunch of guerrilla guys who think they're really hard, and they decide to go and buy guns and kill people. And that's not cool, man. That's totally not cool. That's not what casinos is about. No, you got that right, Zach.
It's about peace, right?
Yeah, peace, love, unity, man.
Okay. So, did anyone get hurt in the shootings?
A lot of people get hurt in shootings, I think.
Okay.
But basically, the owner of the bike shop, I believe, died. 2 people at the steel mill died. In the Nanaimo steel mill, sorry. And 3 other people were injured at the steel mill. Other than that, I don't really know specifics. Just a lot of shootings have been happening around BC.
Like America.
America's America.
Okay. So you got any other updates you want to give us?
Keep your guns at home. That's about it.
Yeah, guns are for show.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's our update for today. So, could you guys introduce your band and why you started your band and what message you guys want to send to us through your music?
Well, I think casinos. Well, when did we start, Kier? I think
2008.
Yeah, so 2008. We were just kind of jamming on guitars in a garage, and we were listening to all the Strokes records and just ripping off all their tunes for a little while, and then we were like, no, we have our own sound, so we were doing that, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think casinos is all about just having a massive party, just a big party.
No, recently, the shows have. Those shows have been very fun recently. I mean, we've gotten to this point, I think, as musicians and just as people after, just growing up, that we've become better musicians. And we're blessed. We're blessed to be that way. I mean, we'll show up at a practice after not seeing anyone for ages. And, it's amazing how fast these guys, pick up songs that we haven't played for a while. And it's just, there's a higher level of focus now. Everyone's so much better at what they do. There's so much more focus, more serious about what we're doing. And now casinos isn't just it's not just like a hobby band or anything like that. No, not at all. Especially after recording all our new tracks at Nimbus and things like that, we're starting to realize hey, you know what, I think we might have some viability. And it feels good to be at that stage, and really I think it's because of age. It took age. It took many years of just sucking for a long time. It did.
Yeah, it did.
It's
Yeah,
important.
legit.
So and that was really important. It was important to suck. And ironically, sucking those years, some of the best parts of our lives right there. I'm never going to forget. Never going to forget about those years, you know. But, you know, I'm happy that they're over. I'm happy that we're done sucking, hopefully.
What would you say would be one of your worst gigs that's just something funny's happened or anything like that, or just maybe a terrible experience?
Man, where to start?
The one where Beavers left?
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had like a show that we're really unhappy with.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you guys feel that?
Yeah.
It's been a long time. But there was one, the beginning of the civil battle. Our drummer didn't tell us, but he was going to Kamloops that weekend. So,
After we confirmed the show.
yeah, after we confirmed the show, so we had to do it without him, and that was pretty scary. It ended up okay.
Yeah, and things like that are stressful.
Yeah,
Very
real.
stressful. We have a show next week at the Biltmore in Vancouver. You know, our first Vancouver show,
Mm-hmm.
and it was only up to very recently, just a couple of days ago, that I was able to convince our drummer to participate because he was double booked, and that's scary.
I think like some of our shows that I think we all kind of looked at and said, hey, we have to try something differently here and there and all over the place, all over the set, were the ones where we felt extremely nervous and like we couldn't relate with the people in the crowd. You know, everyone's been to one of those shows at a bar where everyone's sitting down and not really into the music. But I think with practice and with songwriting and just like working on our craft, we've gotten a lot better at just like letting loose during shows. For instance, our last show, it was a house party, and at the end of the night, you know, there was all these inebriated, you know, 20 something year old boys just loving the music, and we were kicking over mic stands and like, you know, we've kind of gotten a sense of rock and roll, and I really like that about where we're going with the band, just not caring so much.
Yes, it took a while for us to become completely comfortable there upstage, where like the crowd really starts to disappear. You know, what I mean by that is that for a while a lot of our energy came from I don't know about you guys, but for me at least, like a lot of the energy it came from, you know, having a very receptive crowd there. But eventually, you know, I was just so happy. I became so happy with what was happening at practices, and I'm talking very recently now. I was so happy about how fast everyone was picking things up and how great everything was sounding to me, that, you know, instead you just I mean, it sounds really picturesque, but we really get lost in what we're doing up there, and it doesn't matter if there's, you know, 10 people or, you know like 1,000 people. Not that we played for 1,000 people.
Nah, not yet.
no, but
But you will soon.
Hopefully.
no, yeah, it doesn't matter how many people in the crowd anymore. We'll just we'll play like there's 1 million people out there.
Yeah. Sounds like it's been like a rite of passage going from the awkward stage of like musical puberty.
Yeah, that's what I was
And then you're
imagining.
like, oh, I think I got the handle of my body now, and you just like rocking out. My body's ready. Yeah. Yeah, I know how you feel because I've been in 2 bands, and it's really hard to get started and get that connection. Like maybe you guys, when you're jamming, you guys just like have that look in your eyes, and you people are like, oh, you know, you can communicate without talking.
Emotionally looking into each other's eyes and just knowing, hey bro, I love you.
Yeah, exactly.
That connection
Exactly.
is so beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got another question for you. What would you describe your music as? Like, what's the genre, and what makes it your style? I mean, it's a really hard question for some people,
Yeah.
but like, if you could
Wanna-
describe it.
You start. Yeah. You know, for a long time we tried a lot of different kind of prototypes on sound, whether it be, you know, garage rock by the Strokes, or even like punk bands. But it's gotten to I guess our sound has gotten to a point that me and Zach have kind of agreed on. It's like a modern hooky twist on garage rock, you know, and that's because we've drawn from influences that are very guitar driven, like, you know, the Vaccines from the UK, or the Arctic Monkeys, or still the Strokes. Can't forget about the Strokes. And even, you know, a little more mathy bands like the late Dan and Aykroyd from Glasgow.
Yeah, and then from that guitar rock, it kind of it kind of brought out for me as a bass player, like it brought me playing more melodies rather than just filling in the bottom end, and just like especially like Nikolai from the Strokes, just playing melodies, and that allowed Kieran and Zach to really fill the high end with what they believed the Casino sound should be. And I don't know, I felt like that's when we really started branching out, when we gave Zach and Kieran the freedom to do what they want with like just anything.
Yeah, I'd say that our sound, it just like how Kier described it, is perfect. We're a garage rock band with a little bit of a pop aesthetic, you know. I'm a big fan of pop music, and I'm not afraid to admit it. When it comes to writing songs, Kier does a lot of the songwriting, but when it comes to my hooks or like guitar parts that I've written, I think back to even like, I don't know, I'm a fan of like the 1975 and even like One Direction songs, like whatever, I don't care. Like cool hooks, you know, like cool poppy hooks. You know, and we still have our material still harkens back to bands like the Strokes. We want to have that edginess, but at the same time, you know, be able to appeal to anyone who's watching, not just the diehard garage rock fans.
I feel that.
Peace.
So do you guys ever do any experimenting with your own like you know how you can get influences, but then you're like, oh, screw all that influence, let's just like start pulling out pots and pans and hitting them and doing all of this crazy stuff?
Right. I don't think we've really experimented much. We've thought about bringing in, more electronic influences, like even electronic instruments like keyboards and things like that. But we haven't really branched out that much.
The way I see it is, with a lot of bands, you write a record and the record is one way. It's consistent the whole way through, whatever, and then you write the second record and it might be totally different, and the sound can completely change. With our band, the best way that I can describe it is, have you guys ever played Katamari Damacy?
Is that ball thing?
The ball game.
Oh yeah.
The way Casinos is like a ball, and it just rolls over everything and picks it up, and our music started off as like punky, and now looking back to like our early tracks that were just like kind of pop punk
just stuff off the Motionless.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can still hear those sounds on our new songs, but you know, with every step of the way involved as well. You know, every step of our musical journey as well. And I would say that our songs are consistent, but they're very different. You know, a lot of our songs are very different.
Yes. What I've kind of found myself aiming for when it comes to, you know, building strong structures, is that there's this kind of like there's this fork of Casino songs. You haven't heard it yet because, you know, there's not enough of it recorded. But there's these fast songs like Canadian Disco and new songs like Do You Want To that are just, you know, very, very fast and sound a lot like Canadian Disco. But then we've started, you know, writing this like the slower side to us. Still just as powerful, but much slower, and Beavers appreciates that. Because, you know, you got to keep them from playing at 160 BPM all the time. Yeah, and I believe that it's gotten away from the point where I find myself trying to sound like other bands or other artists. Like, and don't get me wrong, you know, we still harken back to them, but we find ourselves writing songs that are like, hey, you know what, this is like Casinos. This is like Casinos. And that feels good. That's I'm happy that we've kind of found this, you know, this pathway, this dual pathway for what our music is going to sound like in the future.
All right. Well, now that you described your sound, I got a song here, Canadian Disco by the Casinos from the Motionless Heron. Here it goes.
Dakota, can you move that mic out of the way?
This one?
Yeah,
It's a weird shot.
it is. It's like getting half your face.
Is that not getting used anymore?
Just throw books at it. Or I guess CDs now that there's the storage shelf.
Well, I got a shelf, man. I'm good to go.
Got ammunition. This is Aaron. He does a lot of the filming. I'm assuming you two met.
Yeah,
we did
all of
outside.
you. Yeah.
Are we talking some more? Just like what are we going to next?
We'll be talking a lot. Yeah. This is majority cockpit.
Yeah, it's just disgusting. It's not like an interview exactly. It's just like
Okay.
just go with the flow. So like if you want to bring up something, just go for it.
Like a story or like I was saying before, worst gig or funniest thing that happened at a gig or just random stories that you guys want to talk about.
Basically, we want people to learn from you guys. Like there's younger people like me that look up to bands or like want musical influence or just want to see what other people are doing. So if you just kind of show us what you're doing, then that's what we're looking to.
Also, don't forget to
You still filming?
promote the show.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely. We have a show.
Everything.
We're gonna. Why don't we put that like last?
Yeah, like
last
the last one, yeah.
Okay, sure. Like I have it all. I've got a list of like things that we should talk about. So that's the like the last part so that people know. Cool.
Musical influences, One Direction. We just get to One Direction.
Dude, I'm not even like a big One Direction fan. I just say that because it makes me so mad how much people just hate pop music for no reason. You know, Freddie Cohen from the Vaccines. One of my favorite.
Justin Young, yeah.
Justin Young. It was Freddie Cohen. Oh yeah, it was Justin Young. Okay. He like co-wrote with like One Direction, and they're like. And he was like talking about how great they are, like how like actually they're really talented, you know, like.
There's always haters too.
Yeah, I know, but I just like challenging them, you know.
Tony, look at it. Noise.
Dude, I went on another date with Kelsey, man.
Let go.
Yeah.
It was awesome. She's dope. She's super
No,
cool.
she really likes you, man. A lot.
Yeah, we talked about it. we went to a beer craft commercial.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh yeah.
You guys have any other song that you want to play or
Oh, play Revolver.
Revolver? Okay.
From 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. Hosted by DJ Superhuman. Sponsored by Class
It's a show promo.
This is redonk. I wanna be on this show.
Boombox.
We're noobs.
It's kind of jerking though.
It's called the Planetarians.
It's like
30 seconds. 20 seconds.
We're in
sorry.
track dance.
This also goes to our sponsors, Tractor Grease Multimedia, Jamie and Photography, Abbotsford Heat, and the Abbotsford Arts Council.
we don't have the answer yet.
Congratulations to everyone who participated in the hashtag Civil SS Battle.
The hashtag battle.
Hashtag battle.
Hashtag.
Let's have a hashtag battle.
Hey, welcome back to the Generation Z show, broadcasting on 101.7 FM from UFB to the Fraser Valley, Abbotsford.
Yep. I'm Andy Lee.
I'm Dakota Leslie. We're here with the casinos, so why don't you guys introduce yourself again?
Here's your nose. That's me.
I'm Mitch Trainer.
And I'm Zachary Keeley.
All right, now Andy, why don't you shoot the next question?
Okay. Where can we find your guys' music? What outlets do you have?
We've got all the typical social medias: Facebook.com/WeAreCasinos, Twitter @WeAreCasinos. We got anything else?
We got Bandcamp.
Bandcamp, yeah.
Casinos. So.
And we're also trying to make MySpace thing again.
Yeah, no, we actually are. You can talk about that.
That's a secret. Yeah, we really want MySpace to happen again.
MySpace?
Yeah.
It's not dead, man. It's coming back.
Yeah,
It's
Justin
still dead.
Timberlake did a great job of redesigning.
Yes, he did buy it. Yeah, and the interface just looks so much cooler now. Like the reason why it's changed is they literally just took the M in the logo and made it lowercase, and now it's just a completely
That is
music-based.
so modern. That is
It
way
is
mo-
super modern.
What a twist.
Uber modern.
So, what do your fans say about you guys?
That's
if you have any. I'm your fan.
What do you say about it?
What would
What
you
do
say about
It's
it?
pretty cool. You can make me move, you make me dance, and if you're listening to Canadian Disco from the Motionless Heron album, you probably got out of your car and started dancing on the ceiling. I'm hoping.
Got out of the car.
Like, I don't exactly know what people are saying about us because I've never really asked. I mean I asked, but they would say it's good. But I think what we want our fans to think about us is that they just fall in love with us. I think when we were in high school, we wanted to be in a band because we although we were popular, we were nerdy. We were like nerd kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
yes.
and you know we thought being in a band might mean that we could get girlfriends.
No, that's so true. Just kind of like it's like a Cinderella story. You know what I mean? we felt like underdogs.
When you had to rise up and take the pumpkin.
Well, instead of it being a glass slipper, was it maybe like a magic card? Like maybe this magic card fits in my deck the best now.
Okay, we weren't on like that level.
Yeah,
we were just straight up weirdos.
Holographic Charizard, definitely. It would have been a holographic Charizard.
I think we were more like band nerds.
Yeah.
Bandies. Is that
Yeah,
what
we were like band nerds. We were in band class,
Yeah.
and you know what that means.
I think we both, Andy and I, know exactly what that means, seeing as we were part of the cadet military band and as well as the school band. I believe Andy, you
Oh,
were,
yeah.
you were.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
And not even just like band class, like bands in general. Like in grade 10, I remember Kier coming up to me, finding these bands from these guitar rock bands from Australia with like 0 likes on Facebook and just produce full albums. He's like, dude, you gotta listen to this. This is it, man. This is the stuff. Just like we loved finding new music, so we wanted to play it.
Okay. Where do you guys have your musical background in? Like, did you start off in school band, or did you like pick up a guitar one day and you're like dinka dinka doo, ring ring?
That's pretty funny. We were actually discussing this before the show.
Okay, let's hear it.
I started playing instruments when I was about 6 years old. My parents bought me this old wooden piano with keys that barely worked and put me in piano lessons and stuck me in Royal Conservatory until I hated it.
That was a bit of the same way. I started as a pianist at the age of 6. Dad came home once to the apartment on Dahlstrom that's before it was George Ferguson, you Abbey vets. Yeah,
OG for life.
yeah, this was OG Abbotsford. Yeah, that's back when it was called Dahlstrom. It's like that apartment that looks like the shingles, like they just look like mold. They're just like, and they're like, oh no, I'll just power wash it tomorrow, but it never happened. Yeah, so Dad brings home like a Yamaha, playing Canon in D. Only got like 64 keys, like you know how it is. How about you, Zach?
Yeah, my story is a little bit different. Well, I think I started. I just listened to like my dad's records. I kind of grew up listening to a lot of the Beatles, a lot of Elton John, all that kind of stuff, and yeah, I was probably in the 4th or 5th grade when I started playing music. And my parents suggested that I joined a pipe band, like a bagpipe band. So I
Those kilts.
yeah. And then I played up until I was in grade 7, where I was made fun of, and so I stopped.
The peer pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how I got started was I was playing. Those like little Fisher Price piano things that like you
Oh, yeah.
put
Pianos.
We only
Yeah.
have like 7 notes.
Yeah, and then there's like the little metal things that like hits and it goes ping ping ping. Yeah, my mom's like, dude, that kid has some talent. So she put me in piano lessons for like 6 years, and then I just picked up all these other instruments. Yeah.
Just from seeing you on that toy piano.
Yeah. I don't know how she deducts those things, but she's my mom, so what can you say? How about you, Dakota?
For me, it was just it was random. I joined cadets, and then I met Jisoo Kim, and he was just all like, "Oh, you should pick up trumpet, join band." And I was like, "Okay," and that's what happened. That was the story.
Great story.
Yeah, I still have a trumpet too. It's like. Anyways.
I have my London Drugs trumpet. Don't bother. Don't buy one from there. $90. Just spend 160. It's worth it. Trust me. Go anywhere else.
That's right, London Drugs. That's right.
So how did you guys meet up? You wanted to be cool. You guys wanted to have girlfriends, but you guys have to have. Do people who have the same aspirations like congeal together and start working together?
Yeah.
What happens?
Yes.
Well, let's go back to grade 7, man, where it all started.
Yes, 7th grade. You know, we were
I didn't
these.
exist.
Mitch, we didn't know Mitch. It was just Zach and I and Beavers that had known each other at the time because you know we went to a Catholic elementary school together, and you know, I started listening to Avenged Sevenfold because because you know.
You laugh. Why
No,
you laugh?
Because if it wasn't for being nerdy and playing video games, like we wouldn't have picked up on these awesome songs that you know producers put in the soundtracks. Thank you, EA. You're the reason why I'm in a band. So, yeah, Need for Speed Most Wanted 510. There's this track on it called "Blinded in Chains."
I remember this.
By Avenged Sevenfold, and I remember you know racing my Lamborghini Gallardo down 5th Precinct, and you know getting chased by cops and stuff.
And it was like the weekend after he had started playing that Kier decided, you know, I gotta tell Zach about this Avenged Sevenfold band. And at the time, I kind of had like one of those fringe haircuts. Like I looked like I was in like the Used or something, like some kind of emo band. And I was like, man, these guys are really good. I'm gonna start playing the bass.
Yes, so Zach started taking bass lessons.
Yeah.
We were terrible. You know, I suggested to Alex, our drummer, and he was in drum lessons at the time, that you know for a talent show we perform "Blinded and Changed" by Avenged Sevenfold. Myself on the piano because I couldn't play guitar yet, and Alex on the drums. Now let me get this. Okay, this is a song from an album called City of Evil that has a bunch of imagery from the Book of Revelations in the Bible. So we're talking like, you know, 10-headed demons and things like that. I'm like, oh yeah, let's play this at a Catholic elementary school, grade 7 to kindergarten. This is an awesome idea.
Not to mention the derogatory lyrics as well.
Yes, it's a rough song. Needless to say, we didn't end up playing it, and you know, thank God, 'cause
Yeah.
that would have been thoroughly bad.
I wish I was there, but it's too late now.
That must have been very interesting. What did you guys do instead though for the talent show? Or did you just guys like call
We
quits?
just didn't end up playing.
No, you played that Green Day song, remember?
Oh, that was a year back. Yeah, Alex and I played a Green Day song, you know, Holiday. Anyway, once we got into high
This is
school,
before we knew what music was. It was like, let's music.
once we got into high school, that's when we met Mitchell, and another guy named Alex, who was our initial guitarist. Things didn't work out with him, so I kicked him out. I kicked him out of the band. Yeah, no hard feelings. He was totally okay with it. And we ended up, ended up getting Mitch into the band, and he was in his own project called Dry Rain.
Yeah.
He's the lead singer.
But he was just such a good-looking guy, and he had bass skills that just couldn't be matched. So we're like, we need to snatch that. I remember being at like Dry Rain shows and seeing Mitch up on stage. Like, this band's good. We gotta steal Mitch.
Yes, and now Mitch is the best bassist that we could have ever asked for.
Yep. And let's play something that's better than Avenged Sevenfold and Green Day. We have Revolva by the Casinos from the Motionless Heron. And here it goes.
That song's about shooting, dude.
Speaking of shooting.
Right on cue. No.
It's not working.
Can you come up with some more questions?
More questions? Well, let's just talk about experiences during concerts and things like that. Maybe,
Actually, now Mitch plays in Little Wild as well.
Yeah, so you can touch on that too.
Okay. You want to talk about like other musical aspirations you had?
Oh, it's gonna get interesting.
Your R&B, electronic.
Yeah, we all got side projects.
I'm
Mitch
not.
you have a side project.
Let's make one up right now.
You're in a polka band.
Oh, and one person.
One person. Black metal group.
One person. I would put one person black one group, but I don't want to get into it.
We're called Cow Dung.
We're called
First album.
We're called Cow
Deadly
Punching.
Manure.
Cow Punching.
Cow Punching. Oh, you guys are reading the text.
Hazardous waste.
The funny thing is the first time I came into the studio, there was this friend Johnny K, his show, and that's the first question I ever asked is, who the hell's Cow Punching?
I thought this is Dry Rain. Dry Rain.
You can talk about scenic spaceships.
Scenic stations.
That project never went anywhere.
It had one
We'll
song.
revive it.
It was just
Hey, that one had Pokemon lyrics.
It was just basically like New York City.
That's what it was. Still happened though.
We should remake Scenic Spaceships and make it like a 3-piece Kraftwerk band. It's like weird synthesizers and like cool vocals like that. Rejuvenate your skin.
I can play the one that I made. Did you listen to it yet?
I've been super busy. Sorry. Like literally I just got around to listening to the remastered and the music. It was good.
I'll play it. Tell me
Where did you record these songs?
Mission.
The bar. New song.
The bar.
New song.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought you were remastered. Not doing this kind of.
That's it. Air drumming. Bongos. Air bongos.
One of the toughest dairy instruments.
Are you guys playing at Jam again?
The second stage.
We're playing the Berry Fest.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Oh, you've heard of it? Yeah.
Mention that on.
Totally. There's a lot of good Abbotsford friends.
Where do you guys all come from though? Abbotsford locally?
Mission.
Mission? Yeah.
My grandma's from Langley, but originally from Abbotsford.
Oh, okay. That's good.
He's a traitor.
Blood trader.
He doesn't even associate with
the
Abbotsfordians anymore.
He's a blood trader. I love blood.
Lost it all.
Warrant's key tag, it acts as a safeguard. If you lose your keys, the
We'll just be
Warrants
like,
will
yeah,
return
that's
them
part
to
of the
you by
promo.
courier. To order your key tag,
That's what that
contact
was.
the Warrants at 1-800-250-3030 or warrants.ca. When you use a Warrants key tag,
Wait,
it acts
what?
as a safeguard. If you lose your keys, the Warrants can return them to you by courier. To order your
commercial.
key
Are they the
tags,
same or
contact
different?
the Warrants
Okay,
at
we're coming in 3 seconds.
1-800-250-3030 or warrants.ca.
They're different. Hey, welcome back to the Generation Z Show, broadcasting on 101.7 FM to the Fraser Valley from UFB Abbotsford. I'm Dakota Leslie.
I'm Andy Lee.
I'm Pure Junos.
I'm Mitch Trainer.
I'm Zach Ricky.
And together they make the casinos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love proud music and awesomeness. But sometimes we stray from our path and we do other things. What are the other musical aspirations that you've had and acted upon?
I recently started getting into a lot of R&B music. So this is, probably around February. I started taking vocal lessons because I found my voice going too fast at shows, and it was a combination of not being able to hear myself over the monitor and not singing right. So I was like, you know what? I gotta save my voice. My buddy Alistair gave me a call once, and he told me, KC, he's the only person that calls me KC. You know, you don't want to like end up 30 and like not have your voice anymore, like when you're just about to get in your prime. So you should like take vocal lessons. I'm like, Alistair, yeah, I did them. So in February, I went to Indie Music and did some lessons there, and they gave me my instructor was very good, and I managed to increase my range a little more and become more proficient as a vocalist. And then I started listening to more R&B songs like Alan Stone and Frank Ocean and who else? Yeah, even John Mayer. And I was like, you know what, like, I could sing like this. I could totally sing like this. So I started practicing. I keep practicing. I'm putting out, little demos of songs that kind of have like an Alan Stone, Frank Ocean vibe. So, sure, you call it a solo project if you want. But it's a venture that's very, very interesting to me, R&B. I'm glad I'm getting into it. It's something completely different from casinos, and I never saw myself ending up making songs in this genre at all.
Oh. You mind if you could give us like a little example? Come on.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Just like
B flat scale.
I don't have perfect pitch.
little song, little ditty.
A little song. Oh.
3 words.
Wait, hold on. I'm thinking of something. I'll take you just the way you are. Billy Joel.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to hearing your other R&B stuff.
Dude, me too.
I've heard it. It's real good.
It's good. That's awesome.
Yeah. I don't really have any side projects on the go, but I also play with Zach in a band called Little Wild, who are also from Abbotsford. And they are a bunch of fun dudes. Dude. I'm just getting used to playing with them, but they like to have a good time, let me tell you. And that's casinos in Little Wild take up pretty much all of my time.
All your spare time.
All my spare
And
time.
watching the World Cup.
Watching the World Cup, absolutely. How about you, Zach? What are you doing?
Well, when in high school, I was really into like 2 different kinds of music. I was really into like 90s, and like 90s alternative, and like garage rock and stuff like that. As well, I was really into electronic music. I was kind of like a rave kid, for a little while, and I kind of wanted just to like experiment with electronic music, namely like house and tech house and stuff like that. And so I'm kind of working on like a side project as a DJ, electronic music, but more like still very dancey, but more like Euro tech house type stuff, deeper and more progressive.
Yeah, I do a little bit of DJing myself, and I'm trying to pull out like things that people aren't listening to.
Exactly.
Yes. I know
Yeah,
what you mean.
it's really hard, by the way. It's
like
super
you have
hard.
to find something that people are gonna dance to, but you can't like pull out something so obscure that
like
you're gonna
people
be like,
won't
what
get
the
it, yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Totally.
Yeah, I'm listening to a lot of Glitch Hop.
Oh, Glitch Hop's cool, man. Yeah, that's sick.
It's like, and you can mix it in with like house and other things, so it's good too.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who you guys cheered for with the World Cup?
Deutschland für immer. Ja. Wir sind der Turniermannschaft.
I'm going for England, but they're already out. They kind of got screwed over in their group. It wasn't that good.
Today I cheered for Germany.
Yeah, man.
You
I
sound very disappointed about that.
Well, you know what? I'm.
Watch yourself, man.
Careful, there's a lot of fans of Germany apparently.
No, it's not that. I mean, like Philippines as a national team, but we're terrible.
Dude, same with Canada.
Same with Canada, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Except the women. Like, the women could beat the men. The women could totally beat the men.
Probably.
No, yeah, Philippines as a national team, not that great. I remember watching. I just watched it on Google once. YouTube, and I just typed in,
You can call it Google now, I guess, because
yeah,
it is
they
pretty
bought
much
everything.
yeah.
They're pretty much Skynet.
Gmail.
Yeah, I watched the Filipino national team. Like, they were, I guess, in some kind of exhibition with like, I don't know, some team like Iran or some or like one of those Slavic countries, and they lost brutally, like 6-0 or something like that. And I was like, wow, not gonna cheer for these guys.
Cheer for winners.
which is why I cheered for Germany today,
Hey,
even though they tied it.
You gotta cheer for the underdog sometimes too, right?
North Korea.
No, man.
Are they?
I saw South Korea was pretty good.
Is North Korea even in?
No.
No,
they were in a couple years ago though.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They lost for last World Cup. I remember watching. They played Brazil in one of their matches and they got destroyed.
Yeah, but in North Korea they won.
Well, that's because they had Jong Kim Il as their forward.
Yeah.
He scored all the goals.
It was a victory match for the people of the North Korea.
Oh no, it's leading.
Cool.
Well, have you guys ever had anybody come up on stage while you guys were playing and he was just obnoxious or anything like that? He or she?
Last show.
Obnoxious, no, but we have had people come on stage during Revolve. It gets pretty intense, so they just hop on up and start grooving with us.
Well, that's cool for sure. Hopefully you guys don't get one of those guys.
Namely Jeff and Rob,
Jeff and Rob.
two of our best friends. They made an appearance at our show at the Richmond Night Market, and that was fun.
Yeah,
Came up on
totally.
stage and just partied with us.
They were playing after us, Western Jaguar. They're cool little project.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I've been mucking around with Fruity Loops. You know Fruity Loops?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I use Ableton, but
So-
it's dope.
You can tell. So here's a song. I got some influence from Mosh. Was another like band I played that there's like kind of glitch hoppy, techno-y, like darker sounding music. So yeah, here it goes.
Dope. I'm digging this.
What you did? Yeah. Okay.
Sick. There's like a shamisen back there or something.
Yeah. Have you ever listened to like Cone Sound before? Cone Sound?
Rolling sound.
Koan Sound.
It sounds familiar.
They're like a two-piece glitch hop group from the UK. They're really good. I really suggest them.
Let's see what I need. Oh yeah, show phone. Remind me to do the show phone.
Really epic.
And sometimes we like to bug Eric with little details on like the sheet here, so I put Andy Lee, Echo, and then 24, right? This is pretty much what the genre kind of time. Yeah, easy listening. And then we always do something like awesome for language. Or sometimes I put English UK, because that's an option somewhere. What's the date today?
21st. Pretty early month. Huh?
5th month.
I think so.
Yeah. We had another guy that was gonna come in today, and he's doing a gig tomorrow at the flea market. I noticed that with Chuck, who is the old guy.
Nice.
Yeah, he canceled last second. Yeah, so it's just kinda like, my show format's gone. That's why the beginning kind of was a little bit weird, you know. Yeah.
I guess that happens like all the time. Like people say they'll be on the show and they just don't come or whatever.
Like, oh yeah, I'll do that gig, sure, and then they're all like, no, I don't want it. It's like, oh, thanks, buddy.
I'll bring my DD stuff.
Yeah.
What are you using?
I have like a mishmash of stuff. Like I have like a controller,
Yeah.
and then I have like my studio keyboard, and then I like programmed it to do stuff. And
Okay,
then I have
cool.
like an analog mixer, so
Yeah.
I'm like switching between them.
Yeah, I have an analog. It's my mixer's pretty bad. It's just like an analog Behringer like little mini board thing.
You don't like
And
effects and stuff?
yeah. Oh, there's a couple. There's like reverb and like ping pong delay on the like actual the analog mixer, but then I also use a Kai GT40. Just like trigger everything. Pretty cool.
You hear both of you should meet this one guy that I know. He's dated my sister, but he does gigs all over Vancouver
Really?
and BC.
Dude,
He's doing this kind of stuff.
Because I'm looking for shows and stuff. I'm looking to start playing shows and stuff.
He's already in a band, but he'll probably show you some stuff as
Yeah.
well, though.
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
sick.
Okay, we're coming in like 30 seconds, okay? Maybe 10 seconds.
So which one?
That's for you.
You'll never know.
Okay, ready? Hey folks, we're back on the Generation Z show on 101.7 FM, broadcasting from UFB Abbotsford to the Fraser Valley. I'm Andy Lee,
I'm Dakota Leslie.
and we're here with Casinos. Oh, sorry.
My name's Kier Junos.
I'm Mitchell Trainer.
And I'm Zachary Keeley.
Ooh, ah. Okay, well, we're coming to the last few minutes of our show, so tell us about the shows that you're planning on playing here in Abbotsford and around the world, and and what you plan on doing in the future.
That escalated quickly.
I know. I asked
What
big
shows are you
questions.
playing? And what are you doing in the future? Our latest show will be at be at the Biltmore.
Yeah.
That's Wednesday the 25th. The Biltmore Cabaret, Vancouver, BC, with O Village, and they're doing a release show for their To Rely EP, which they just recently released online. I think I might be embellishing, but they've got a new EP. Other than that, we've been hired to play at Berry Beat Festival, Jam and Jubilee. The people that the people that brought us Jam and Jubilee and the Abbotsford Business District Association have organized a second stage at the Berry Beat Festival. If you guys, if you haven't heard about it yet, and there's a roster of awesome bands that are bound to get you.
Moving and grooving.
Yes.
Is the city hall that the place that doing the second stage? What's it called again?
Are you thinking
For
of
Jam-
Town Hall?
Town Hall, yeah.
They're actually going to be doing an After Night series. After
Okay.
Thursdays at Jam and Jubilee, featuring some more heavy bands and not so heavy
Some
bands.
DJs as well.
Yeah.
And Zach was just saying there's some DJs as well.
Okay.
Mhm.
Is that all ages or is that?
That's probably going to be a
19
that's probably going to be a 19 plus thing. Like I said,
Okay.
once again, I'm not exactly sure. But we're not playing Jam and Jubilee this year. Just that second stage on the 5th and 6th at Berry Beat.
Okay. That's gonna be. It's like the cross and you're on the left side.
I don't know.
We're actually. Do you know where that
Precedence.
baseball mural is? Right on the side of Liquidation World.
Yeah.
We're playing. I think they're setting up the stage right there.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's gonna be
That's a good place.
awesome. It's gonna be pretty.
Okay. Well, you answered one part of my question. What about the other part of the question?
What part of the future? What part of the future?
The whole future.
The whole future.
Skynet.
What are you planning on taking the casinos to? Like, what are your goals?
Well, I think just like every other band, the thing that drives us is having like awesome fans. So, eventually we'd like to tour the world. I mean, we're not ruling that out as a possibility. I think in the nearer future, a cross Canada tour, and if that means like Western Canada to start, and then maybe the eastern part later. We're not exactly sure how that's going to work out, but I think in the next little while you'll see us coming to a town near you, if it's in Canada, including the Yukon. Maybe not.
In the not so distant future, we finished recording a couple tracks at Nimbus in Vancouver.
We're due to get the tracks and stems soon.
Yeah, so we're working on getting the tracks and stems. They're still being mixed and mastered, but once that's done, we will be releasing a second EP, and here I'll tell you all about that.
Yes, the reason for the latency is just because our student producer is a student, like I just said in this title. So that means he has to deal with maybe getting laid off from a construction job because there's not enough work. Has to sell his car. Guy lives in Mission. Nimbus is in Vancouver. Doesn't have a lot of time to work on the EP. So that's kind of why the delay has been. No, we're not mad at him. Of course not. No, we're really not. These things happen, and we just have to exercise patience. if we want to get a little bigger when you want to talk about the future of casinos, Zach was saying, we're not ruling out doing something much bigger than ourselves and, being able to play around the world. But, that's not... let's not think about it in that literal sense. Like, there's this documentary that Foles put out when they played live at Royal Albert Hall. And the lead singer of Foles said, to be in a band, it means sacrificing, so many different kinds of comfortable life, a 9-to-5 office job, or even, just being a bagger at a grocery store. And I think, yes, casinos does want some commercial success. Like, it sounds like a pipe dream, and it totally is, in a way. But, we want to have the commercial success that, leaves us in a place where, at least, like, for a year or two, we don't have to live that comfortable kind of life. And, it might sound comfy, getting, like, shipped around with all of your gear, and it's fun, yeah, but, there's something there's a lot you have to sacrifice for that. It means, dropping out of other passions. It means leaving a girlfriend behind. It means leaving your family behind. There's a lot of things you have to sacrifice. But, it's worth it. I think I speak for all of us when I say yes, it is totally worth it to sacrifice that comfortable kind of life. I mean, myself, I have two passions. Like, there's my music, and then there's me being a journalist. I'm a journalism major at Quallen Polytechnic University, and it's something that I'm deeply, deeply involved in. Even right now, I was covering things for Cascade a couple of days ago, and it's fun. It's almost just as fulfilling as what I do with the band, but I would leave it all behind in an instant if it meant that I could leave BC for a while. I would leave that behind in an instant if it meant that I could play some bigger stages, some bigger festivals. And, at the end, it's that sacrifice is worth it, I think. I want to feel that, I want to get that enamel of the road. That,
Nice direct quote.
yeah, that's what Yanis said. Yanis from Foles. The enamel of the road. And I think that's something we all want.
Sweet.
And he's just like, that's so deep.
I know.
Don't know how to
I'm
respond
like,
to it.
yeah. I can't even say.
He has his hand on his chest. He's just
But
going
I agree with that completely, because like my main focus is about like individuality and like following through with your passion, not giving up to go for like maybe a major, to be a doctor or PhD rather, right? And then more specifically, what kind of doctor? A lot of kids can't answer that. They just like, I want to be a doctor. Well, you can get a PhD in music. That's not good enough, right?
Yeah.
So, for sure, when it comes to me, I know I want to follow through with my passion, which is radio, video editing, and majority comedy. So next year I'm doing stand-up. Look out for that. But like, for sure, you wanna follow through with whatever works out first and what you enjoy. You don't want to be working a 9-to-5 job and then be just over broke and be like, wow, I wish I made more out of my life than that.
Totally.
Well, we have all the. We wish we had all the time in the world, but we don't. So you had something you want to say? Final words?
I think the theme of casinos is, there's more to life than just punting around. What will the history books write?
They'll write great things, I hope.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they will. Anyways, we have 4 minutes on our show, so we have Aaron Pila, our videographer, taking our video.
Aaron Pilla.
Connor Gilmore is our graphic designer who designed our shirts, which you can find on our Facebook page, or you can talk to one of us if you want to get one. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/GenZShow, or you can email us at genzshow@gmail.com.
I'm Dakota Leslie.
And I'm Andy Lee.
My name is Kiri Junos.
My name is Mitch Trainer.
And I'm Zachary Keeley.
And together they make the casinos. Alright, Andy, play us off.
You guys have any final words? Final goodbyes? Any special quotes?
Come to our show.
Come to our show.
There's an old proverb that I told once. It was, "Come to the show." I don't know. let's get out of here.
1920.
Alrighty, thanks for being here. This is Generation
Thanks
Z
for
Show on
having us.
101.7 FM.
Thanks for having us.
Make sure to tune in to Andy Zadak at 8, and make sure to tune in next week, 5 to 6.
Yeah, that's the show.